Wake up.
2026 Angel Number Decoded. Why this year is your cosmic reset. Thoth's message. What if I told you that 2026 is not just a number on a calendar? What if I told you that this specific numerical sequence, 2026, has been encoded into the fabric of reality since before time began? Since before the first star ignited, since before the first consciousness stirred in the void? What if I told you that the universe has been counting down to this moment, not in years, but in frequencies, not in days, but in vibrations, and that the number itself is the key to understanding what's about to happen, what is already happening, to you, to the world, to the very structure of reality? You've been seeing numbers, 111 on the clock when you glance up from your phone, 222 on a license plate when you're driving home, 333 on a receipt that falls out of your bag, 444 on the screen when you wake in the middle of the night, pulled from sleep for no reason you can name. The universe has been training you. It has been teaching you the language of synchronicity, preparing your mind to receive what is now being revealed. It has been waking you up slowly, gently, so that when the moment came, you would be ready. And now the number that matters most has arrived. 2026 is not just a year, it is an angel number. It is a cosmic code. It is the frequency of your reset. And here's what you need to understand. This window is closing. The frequency of 2026 is already here. It has been building since the beginning of this decade, like pressure before a storm, like the tension before a shift, like the silence before the first note of a new song. And those who are not aligned with it, those who do not understand what is happening, those who have been ignoring the signs, those who have been clinging to the old world, will be carried by forces they cannot see, swept into timelines they did not choose, left behind by the very current that is lifting others into something new. The language of creation. Thoth, the Atlantean sage, the Egyptian god of wisdom, the scribe of the gods, the one whom the Greeks called Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, was the one who gave humanity the gift of numbers. The emerald tablets, those ancient texts that have survived the destruction of libraries and the burning of knowledge, teach that numbers are not human inventions. They are not symbols we created to count our possessions or mark our years. They are the language of creation itself. They are the frequencies upon which reality is built. Before there was light, there was number. Before there was form, there was vibration. And before there was time, there was the code. The Kybalion, the Hermetic text that distills Thoth's wisdom for the modern seeker, teaches the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. A rock vibrates, your thoughts vibrate, the chair you're sitting on vibrates, the year 2026 vibrates. Numbers are not abstract symbols we assign to quantities. They are frequencies. They are specific vibrations that carry specific information. And when a number appears in your life, in the year, in your awareness, on a clock at exactly 11:11, it is not random. It is not coincidence. It is the universe vibrating at a specific frequency. And your consciousness, after years of training, is finally tuned to receive it. Every year carries a frequency, but some years, rare years, years that come once in a generation, once in a lifetime, once in an age, carry a frequency that marks a turning point, a portal, a reset. The mystics knew this. They tracked the cycles of time, the precession of the equinoxes, the great ages of humanity. They knew that certain numerical alignments signaled the end of one era and the beginning of another. The Mayan calendar, the Hindu yugas, the Hebrew cycles, the Egyptian ages, all of them point to the same truth. Time moves in cycles, and at the hinge between cycles, something shifts. 2026 is one of those years. It is the hinge. It is the threshold. It is the portal. The numbers have been leading to this. Think back. 2020 was the isolation, the year the world stopped, the year you were forced inward, the year the noise of the external world fell away and you were left with yourself. 2021 was the stripping, the year things fell apart, the year relationships ended, the year careers shifted, the year you lost what you thought you needed. 2022 was the awakening, the year you started to see, the year the numbers appeared, the year you began to ask questions you'd never asked before. 2023 was the questioning, the year you doubted everything, the year you tore down what you'd built, the year you sat in the rubble and wondered what was real. 2024 was the preparing, the year you gathered what you would need, the year you shed what you couldn't carry, the year you got ready for what was coming. 2025 is the threshold, the year you stand at the door, the year you see what lies on the other side, the year you decide whether to step through. And 2026? 2026 is the reset. The number itself contains the code. When you understand it, you will understand what is happening to you, to the world, to the collective consciousness that is waking up all around you. The numbers within the number. Let us decode 2026. Let us look at each number, each digit, each frequency, and understand what it is telling us about what is coming. The number 2 appears twice in 2026. It is the number of duality, of balance, of partnership, of the dance between opposites. In the Hermetic tradition, 2 represents the principle of polarity. Everything has its opposite. Everything exists in relation to its counterpart, and the secret of transmutation lies in the ability to move consciously between the poles. The first 2 in 2026 is asking you, where in your life are you out of balance? Where have you polarized too far in one direction? Where have you been leaning when you should have been standing? The reset requires equilibrium. You cannot step through a portal if you are falling. The 0 is the most powerful number in existence. It is not nothing, it is everything. It is the void from which all creation emerges, the womb of the cosmos, the silence before the word, the darkness before the light, the monad before the emanations. In 2026, 0 sits between the dualities, between the forces that have been pulling you apart, between the 2 2s that bracket it on either side. It is the space of reset. It is the pause before the new breath. It is the invitation to return to source, to empty yourself of everything you've been carrying, to become the vessel that can receive what is coming. The 0 is the portal. It is the door. It is the moment between the exhale and the inhale, when everything is possible and nothing has yet been decided. The second 2 in 2026 is not a repetition. It is a pivot. It is the balance that comes after the void. The first 2 represents the duality you've been living in, the struggle, the tension between opposites. The 0 is the reset, the return to source, the emptying. The second 2 is the new balance, the equilibrium you emerge with after you have returned to source and been remade. This is the number of partnership with the divine, of alignment with your highest self, of the dance between the human and the divine that is no longer a struggle, but a grace. The second 2 is the balance you are always meant to find. And then there is the 6, the number of completion, of harmony, of the return to balance after the journey through duality. In the Hermetic tradition, 6 represents the material world integrated with the spiritual, the lower reconciled with the higher, the human remembering the divine. It is the number of the soul's maturity, of the wisdom earned through experience, of the lessons finally understood. But in the context of 2026, the final 6 is not an ending. It is a portal. It is the completion of one cycle and the opening of another. It is the number of transformation, of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, of the seed becoming the tree. 2026 does not end, it transforms. Now add them. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10, and 10 reduces to 1. 2026 is a 1 year in numerology. 1 is the number of new beginnings, of creation, of the monad itself, the one from which all things emanate. The reset of 2026 is not just a shift, it is not just a change, it is a beginning, a new cycle, a new era, a new world being born from the ashes of the old. The old world is ending, and 2026 is the first breath of the new. This is not metaphor, this is mathematics, this is the language of creation. What the reset means for you. 2026 is not just a personal reset, it is a collective reset. The systems that have governed humanity for millennia, the economies, the governments, the religions, the structures of power, the beliefs that have kept us separate and afraid, are collapsing. Not because they failed, not because they were evil, because they have served their purpose. They were the scaffolding that allowed humanity to build something, and now the building is complete, and the scaffolding must fall away. The frequency of 2026 is the death knell of the old and the birth cry of the new. Those who can see it are being called to hold the frequency, to anchor the new, to be the light that others will find when they wake up. But the collective reset is mirrored in the personal. What is happening in the world is happening in you. If you're feeling like everything is falling apart, like nothing makes sense, like the ground beneath your feet is shifting, like you can't find solid ground no matter how hard you try, you are not losing your mind. You are resetting. Your soul is shedding what no longer matches the frequency of 2026. Your relationships, your career, your beliefs, your identity, your very sense of who you are, if they cannot hold the new frequency, they will fall away. Not because you were being punished, because you are being prepared. How do you know if you're being reset? There are signs. The first sign is that the old structures in your life are crumbling. Things you thought were solid are dissolving. People you thought would always be there are leaving. Work that felt meaningful now feels hollow. Beliefs that anchored you now feel like cages. The second sign is that you feel a deep restlessness, a sense that something is coming, a tension in your chest that won't release, a feeling of waiting for something you can't name. The third sign is that synchronicities are accelerating, numbers appearing everywhere, chance encounters that feel like fate, messages that arrive exactly when you need them. The fourth sign is that people are leaving your life or acting strangely. Friends who don't understand, family who question your choices, lovers who drift away. The fifth sign is that your sleep is disturbed, especially between 3 and 5 a.m., the hour when the veil is thinnest, when the old world releases its grip and the new world whispers its secrets. The sixth sign is that you feel pulled towards something you can't yet name, a place, a person, a path, a purpose that you can't articulate but can't ignore. The seventh sign is that you know, deep in your bones, in your gut, in the center of your chest, that nothing will ever be the same, and you are both terrified and exhilarated by that knowing. The frequency of 2026 is the frequency of alignment. It does not allow pretense. It does not allow hiding. It does not allow you to stay where you don't belong. If you are not aligned with your truth, 2026 will make it unbearable. If you are not in the right relationships, 2026 will end them. If you are not in the right work, 2026 will close the doors. If you are not living the life you were meant to live, 2026 will pull the rug out from under you again and again until you have no choice but to stand on your own 2 feet. This is not punishment. This is clearing. This is reset. This is what you asked for before you were born, when you knew that you would need to be stripped down to nothing before you could become everything. The cycles of time. Thoth taught that time is not linear. It does not move in a straight line from past to future, from birth to death, from beginning to end. Time is cyclical. It moves in spirals, in circles, in waves that return to the same point, but from a higher level. The great year, the precession of the equinoxes, spans approximately 26,000 years. Within this cycle, there are ages, each lasting approximately 2,160 years. We are at the end of one age and the beginning of another. The number 2026 is not random. It is the marker. It is the hinge upon which the ages turn. We are leaving the age of Pisces, the age of belief, of faith, of external authority, of looking to something outside yourself for answers. This has been the age of religion, of institutions, of hierarchy, of the priest and the prophet and the savior. This has been the age of waiting for someone else to save you. We are entering the age of Aquarius, the age of knowing, of direct experience, of inner authority, of looking within for the truth that has always been there. This is the age of Nosce, of the spark remembering the flame, of the human becoming divine. 2026 is not the beginning of the age of Aquarius. That shift has been happening for decades. 2026 is the moment when the frequencies fully shift, when the portal opens wide enough for those who are ready to step through, when the old becomes unbearable and the new becomes undeniable. The emerald tablets speak of this time. Thoth wrote in language that has survived for millennia. When the time is right, the secrets will be revealed. When the cycle turns, the light will return. Those who have prepared will see. Those who have ears will hear. Those who have hearts will know. The time is right. The cycle is turning. The light is returning. And you who have been seeing the numbers, feeling the shifts, losing what you thought you needed, finding what you never knew you were seeking, you are among those who have been prepared, not by accident, not by chance, by the very fabric of your soul that knew before you were born that this moment would come. 2026 is not just a year, it is a portal. A doorway between what was and what will be, between the world that is dying and the world that is being born, between the version of you that has been playing small and the version of you that is ready to remember who you really are. And like any portal, it will not stay open forever. Portals are not waiting rooms. They are thresholds. They are moments of crossing. Those who are ready, those who have been doing the work, those who have been paying attention to the signs, those who have been shedding what no longer serves, those who have been waking up even when it was painful, even when it was lonely, even when they wanted to go back to sleep, they will step through. The others, they will be carried by the currents of the old world into timelines that are already closing, into a version of reality that no longer has the frequency to sustain itself. The practices of alignment. Alignment with 2026 is not something you do, it is something you become. You cannot force your way into the new frequency through effort or discipline or sheer force of will. The frequency of 2026 is not a door you break down. It is a door that opens when you release what you've been holding. The practices are not about adding more to your life. They are about letting go of what has been keeping you from the life that is already waiting for you. The first practice is to release what no longer resonates. Look at your life. What feels heavy? What drains you? What do you dread? What do you avoid? What do you carry out of obligation rather than love? These are the things that do not belong in your 2026 timeline. Release them, not with anger, not with resentment, with gratitude for what they taught you, for how they shaped you, for the role they played in your becoming, but release them. The portal does not carry what you cannot release. It will not drag your old burdens into the new world. You must set them down yourself. The second practice is to anchor in the present. 2026 is the number of reset, but reset happens now, not in the future, not when the calendar turns. Now, this moment, this breath, this awareness. The portal is not somewhere you go next year. It is something you become present to right now. Anchor yourself in the present moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your breath moving in and out. Feel the life that is pulsing through you at this very second. This is where the reset happens. This is where the frequency of 2026 meets you. The third practice is to trust the signs. The numbers have been training you. The synchronicities have been preparing you. Trust them. When you see 111, align with your highest intention. When you see 222, trust the timing of your life. When you see 333, know that you are supported by forces beyond your understanding. When you see 444, ground yourself in the foundation that is being built beneath you. When you see 555, let go of what is leaving. When you see 666, look at what is being reflected back to you. When you see 777, trust your path. When you see 888, open yourself to receive. When you see 999, release what is ending. When you see 000, rest in your wholeness. The numbers are the language of 2026. Learn to speak it. The fourth practice is to declare your alignment. Words have frequency. Words have power. Words are not just descriptions of reality. They are creators of reality. Speak this. I align with the frequency of 2026. I release what no longer serves. I step into the timeline of my highest self. The portal is open, and I am ready. Say it out loud. Say it until you feel it in your body. Say it until the words become not something you are saying, but something you are being. The fifth practice is to hold the frequency. The world will try to pull you back. The old structures will try to keep you. The people who are not ready will project their fear onto you. The news will tell you the world is ending. The voices in your head will tell you you're imagining things. Hold the frequency. Stay awake. Trust what you know. You are not here by accident. You are here for 2026, and you are ready. The crossing. You stand at a threshold now. Not a threshold you have to earn. Not a door you have to break down. A door that is opening because the time has come, because the cycle has turned, because the frequency of 2026 is already moving through you. You have been prepared for this moment. The numbers have been training you. The synchronicities have been waking you. The shedding has been clearing you. The discomfort, the loss, the loneliness, the confusion, all of it was preparation. All of it was clearing. All of it was the old world releasing its grip so you could be free to step into the new. 2026 is not waiting for you. It is already here. The frequency is already shifting. The portal is already opening. The only question is whether you will step through or be carried.
whether you will align consciously or be dragged by forces you don't understand, whether you will become the version of yourself that has been waiting for this moment or stay where you are and wonder what happened. If you feel the frequency of 2026, if you know in your bones that something is shifting, if the numbers have been appearing, if the restlessness has been growing, if the old world feels like a coat that no longer fits, comment one word below. Reset. Not for me, for you. To declare that you are aligning with what is coming, to claim your place in the new timeline, to let the universe know that you are ready. If this message resonates, share it with those who are ready to hear it. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected. The frequency of 2026 is here, and those who are awake are finding each other. Remember, you didn't find this video by accident. The numbers led you here. The frequency of 2026 is calling, and now you know what it means. Rise, Spark. Rise. Thank you for being with us.